Can pause this video and take a minute to read the question before I begin. But I will begin right away because you can pause the video. So right, let's see. Okay, so we have to find the area of this. Basically, what we do, we just make use of the technique where we find the okay. So to find the area between two graphs, what we do is, let's say for example, if we have something like this, we have two graphs. One I call it fx, and the other I call it a gx. If I want the area between these two graphs, easy. I just need to find what is the x coordinate of these two intersection points. I take integration a to b. I take the curve between this a to b. The curve fx is on top minus the gx curve, which is below for this interval of the graph. Right, and then I do a dx, and that will give me the area in between. So I'm going to apply this idea here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I realize that the y equals to 1 is the graph on top, and the graph y equals to 1 minus x over x is the graph below for the region. So I need to know what is this x coordinate, and I just need to find out what is this x coordinate. I just need to sub y equals to 1 into this graph, right? Because that is their intersection point. So I find that 1 equals to 1 minus x over x, right? And I realize that x is equals to 1 minus x for that point, and x, so 2x equals to 1 and x equals to half. So I've discovered that this x coordinate is half. So what I need to do to get the region R area is just equals to integrate all the way from the half, x coordinate half, to the x coordinate 2, which is here, the 2, right? And I'm going to take the graph 1 on top minus, because this is y equals to 1 is the curve on top, right? And then the curve below is minus the curve below 1 minus x over x dx. What happens here with this integration is that we are actually summing up. Integration is actually a summation of infinitely thin lines. So we are taking the upper curve minus the lower curve, so we get the length between the two lines, the two curves, right, for each value. And then we are going to sum them up, and then we sum them up. That's the meaning of integration. So the next part, right, when I integrate this term, I could just do a half 2, and then 1 minus 1 over x plus 1. I'm not integrating yet, I'm just simplifying what is over here, because minus 1 over x minus 1 times minus 1 is plus 1 over x over x is 1. So we have this, the dx. So this is easy to integrate because like half 2, right, 1 plus 1 is 2. So when I integrate 2, I get a 2x. Then when I integrate a 1 over x, I get ln x. Sorry, so since I have integrated, so this is gone, right? Because I've already started integration, so I write it this way. So these numbers 2 half are the limits that came from here. So 2 half. So how do I evaluate this thing, right? So what I do is to evaluate this, I just substitute 2. Okay. Okay, let's move to the whiteboard. Alright. Okay, so I try to move to the whiteboard. Okay, for this part. Okay, move to the whiteboard. Right, yeah. So I move to the, because I have no space on the thing. Right, so to integrate, right, when we have f something like a function of x and 2 3 something like this, or a b in more general, a b, right, what we do is equivalent to fv minus fa. So we are going to apply this idea over here. Yeah, so let's say if you have 2x minus ln x and half 2, so it will just be 2 times 2, because I'm substituting 2 into the x, minus ln 2, right? This is the first part, minus, there's a default, this is a minus, right, for the form. So minus 2 times half, because this half substituted into this x, minus ln half, sorry, so minus ln half, right, here. So, and to evaluate that, right, we have 2 times 2 is 4, minus ln 2, minus 2 times half is 1, minus times minus is plus, so plus ln half. So that will give me the I'm about close to the answer. 4 minus 1 will give me, because minus times, so 4 minus 1 is 3, minus ln 2 is actually equals to plus ln half, right? So because for logarithm rules, ln a b equals to b ln a, so minus ln 2 equals to ln 2 to the power minus 1 equals to ln half. That's what I mean, right? So here we have, so this is plus ln half, right? And so I've accounted, so ln half minus ln half will give me 0. So the final answer is 3. So the area is 3. Do you get me? Or just try to make the screen larger if it's possible? No, it's not possible to be larger. So you take a final look on the workings. Right, is it in the right orientation? No, it's not in the right. So maybe I just for the sake of, I'll just do it here, right? I just make this small, and then I'm just going to do it here. I just erase this part. This part is for finding intersection, so I'm going to just do it here quickly, right? Repeat what I do. So 2x minus ln x, 2 half would be equals to 2 times 2 minus ln 2 minus 2 times half minus ln half, and 2 times 2 is 4 minus ln 2 minus 2 times half is 1, minus ln half is just plus ln 2, is they are equivalent. You can key in the calculator to check if what I say is true. So 4 minus 1 is 3, minus ln 2 plus ln 2 is 0. So we have 3 as the final answer for the first part. So there's a second part and third part to this question. I will leave it to the next video.